All right. So we'll do a show where we'll talk about all the movies we're most excited about seeing for the rest of the year. But Adam, I don't want to neglect you and your time to shine. And this is it, my friend. This is it.
Here we go.
Well, yeah. Let's. Are we adequately prepared? Or are we ever? Well. Anyway, we'll do it chronologically, like we always do, starting April 3rd. We'll go back to the beginning of the month. And here's a title that I honestly had never heard of until this month, The Boneyard, which, check out this cast. It's a horror film with Ed Nelson, Norman Fell, Phyllis Diller, Deborah Rose, and Denise Young.
How can anything get better with that? I mean, how can we even top that for the rest of the show, Adam? Come on.
It's Ed Nelson as a policeman, and there's a psychic played by Deborah Rose, and they link cult mayhem to a morgue that's run by Norman Fell, where ancient ghouls are on the loose. So when you have Norman Fell in a horror film,
I gotta ask something, dude.
Yeah.
It seems like every single month you're talking about a movie that Norman Fell is in. He must have had a really robust film career that I was unaware of.
Well, I mean, think about it. He was, big in the '60s. He's in the freaking Graduate. He's in, he's in a lot of movies. So
isn't he in Catch-22?
Yeah, but all of these Norman Fell movies that Adam mentions, I've never heard of.
Well, he's the hardest working man in show business. Let's just deal with it. I mean,
I love that.
And right now he's
Mr. Roper.
Right now he's literally in the Boneyard right now. So
yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Anytime I get a chance to give a shout out to Norman Fell, I can't not do it.
Yeah. And Phyllis Diller,
Right, that too. Bonus points. What can I tell you?
She plays Mrs. Poopinplatz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go.
So we know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have a 6-movie collection from Mill Creek Entertainment called the 80s Overdrive Collection, which, check out these titles. We have The Legend of Billie Jean, Little Nikita, Hard Bodies, Spring Break, Private Resort, and wait for it, Perfect, with John Travolta and Jimmy.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what to say.
Perfect.
I don't know what to say about that.
What the hell is Little Nikita doing it there?
That's a good question.
That seems a little out of place. I would have put in Weekend Pass.
I would have put in Tag the Assassination Game, but okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's do it.
It's interesting. But the thing is, this thing you can get it for like $15, and you get all these movies on Blu-ray. It's not a bad deal.
That's still too much.
Yeah, well, there's some of those are of questionable quality, but there's a couple of them in there that might make it worth it. I don't know. For some people, maybe
if you even want 2 of them, $15 is worth it.
That's right.
Why not Born American while we're at it, or something like that?
Didn't Sidney Poitier direct Little Nikita?
He's in it. I'm not sure if he directed it. But he's definitely in it.
Oh no, okay, okay. No, he did direct that, the movie with River Phoenix.
Oh wow, that I had forgotten.
I think so. Either he or Richard Benjamin. Maybe I'm getting them confused.
Richard Benjamin.
Confused. Poitier and Richard.
He's definitely in it.
Richard Benjamin and Richard Jenkins is in it, and lots of Richards. Richard. I can make a joke here, but Richard Jenkins, Richard Bradford, Richard Lynch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's in that box set, because it's a movie full of dicks. So
there we go.
There you go.
I knew it had to happen.
Mystery solved. But Mill Creek has also done a 6 Degrees collection, the Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees collection.
That's neat.
And again, this one's $11.50. You can get this, and it's 6 Kevin Bacon movies, and even if there's 1 or 2 in here, it's worth it. There's you get The Big Picture, which I think we all most people like that one.
Yep.
Flatliners, Hollow Man.
Okay, we're going downhill quick.
Yeah. in the cut and Where the Truth Lies.
Okay.
Where the Truth Lies, I can deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little interesting.
So there's a couple in there. It's worth it for the big picture, at least. So
Yeah.
So just for anybody that's interested, I just wanted to throw it out there. And then there's a Kino Lorber titled "The Sixth Man," Marlon Wayans and Kadeem Hardison from the glorious days of the late 90s, 1997, directed by Randall Miller and also starring Octavia Spencer and David Paymer. So
yeah, no, God, is it that old?
Yes, it is.
Wow, okay. I thought it was like 2000, but no, okay, wow, okay.
And I
no,
think
dude,
this
you're that old.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know, thank you. I'm aware of that. I'm reminded every day at work about that, so.
Yeah, so that's a Kino title, and there's a Scream Factory title that's was issued on April 3rd. Oh, sorry, this is another Mill Creek title. Sorry, it's A Study in Terror from 1965 with John Neville and Donald Houston, and it's a Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson thing, British film. So, and I wasn't really all that familiar with it, but and then For the Love of Benji, there's a 4K restoration. If
wow!
Anybody was clamoring for that, but last month they did Benji, the original, and those movies have been notoriously in horrible quality on Blu-ray and DVD, and so they've finally done something with them. So
can I backtrack? Study in Terror has a very interesting cast. Anthony Quayle, Adrian Corey, who we remember as the rape victim in Clockwork Orange. Frank Finley, the Oscar-nominated actor. Judi Dench, and so we can see the young Judi Dench in this, and so that sounds interesting.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's it. Well, it's another Mill Creek, and their titles are, like I said, always notoriously low priced. I think you can get this one for $7 or $8, so it's worth checking out. It won't be putting a lot of money into it. So Enigma Rosso from 1976. We're moving on to April 10th. This is one of those Italian thrillers. This one's directed by Alberto Negrin, and it has cinematography by Eduardo No, the guy who photographed Fistful of Dollars. And this is a Scorpion releasing. They notoriously do a lot of these drive-in type films. So we have that one. And then the 1974 biopic of Martin Luther. This is a Kino Lorber. Stacy Keach and Judi Dench. And the directed by Guy Green.
Okay. Oh.
I think based on the play by John Osborne.
Okay.
And there's a nice batch of extras there for that one.
I think that's the second filming of that. I think it was done in the 60s or in the 50s originally. So that should be interesting.
Well, they did one in 2002 with Joseph Fiennes.
Joseph Fiennes, right?
So there's that one. But anyway, we have Lover Come Back from Universal. That's Rock Hudson, Doris Day, Tony Randall, one of their
it's
the
fun.
group of comedies they did.
Very fun.
Yeah, it is.
I like those movies. I like those Doris Day, Rock Hudson movies, especially if they have Tony Randall in them. I think they become very, very entertaining.
Yeah, very true. Phantom Thread, I know this is the newer title, but I do want to give a shout-out to it because we all loved it so much. Phantom Thread is now available on Blu-ray, and it's coming out on 4K in May. They delayed the 4K for some reason, but it's out there for anybody that didn't get to see it. Another of the Rock Hudson, Doris Day, Send Me No Flowers, also issued April 10th.
That's very fun.
And Norman Jewison directing that one, of course.
Yeah.
And Super Beast is a Scream Factory release. One of those horror films that they're known for doing. And this is 1972. Wasn't really familiar with it, but that's a Scream Factory, as well as we talked about this one last month. Won't go into detail on it, except it's I would recommend it. Full Moon High, directed by Mr. Larry Cohen. We talked about that one because it has, has DeMond Wilson and Adam and Alan Arkin and Elizabeth Hartman and Ed McMahon and I can go on and on. So
I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty funny. It kind of runs out of steam towards the end, but it sustains itself for a long while. The 1934 version of Cleopatra has also been issued by Universal.
Claudette Colbert.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yep, and there's a 40th anniversary edition of Up in Smoke. That has been issued with some new extras, as well as Still Smokin'. Also, both of those are Paramount, of course, so I'm sure that's why they both were issued. And not one of the crowning achievements of Alan Pakula. I know we all love him, but this wasn't one of his crowning achievements. Consenting Adults has been released for anybody who's interested.
I always heard that, I haven't seen it yet. I've never seen it, but I know I've been told by some that it's actually very, very entertaining. So
it's not a bad movie.
No, it's not bad.
No, it's not a bad movie, not at all. I mean,
okay.
It's just not up to the level of other stuff. I should clarify.
Sure.
But that's another. And Kino has acquired some of the old Touchstone Films catalog, and I think that's one of them. And because apparently Disney has no interest in those films, they're trying to whitewash their history and pretend like it doesn't exist, so they're just giving those films out to anybody who's interested, I think, that has a decent licensing deal or wants to pony up the money. But thankfully somebody's putting them out there. I'm glad. The 1995 film Bad Company is also a Kino release. That's directed by Damian Harris and Ellen Barkin, Lawrence Fishburne, Frank Langella, Spalding Gray.
Right. Forgot he was in it.
Yeah, the late Spalding Gray. So we move on to April 17th, and there's some good titles here. Of course, we'll get right into the Twilight Time stuff. We have Autofocus, the Paul Schrader film, the biopic of the sordid life and times of Mr. Bob Crane. For anyone who hasn't seen this film, could not recommend it more. It still holds up. I watched it again the other night, and it's a great transfer. There's no less than three audio commentaries on this disc, which is pretty impressive. There's one with the screenwriters, the Larry Alexander, Scott Karaszewski. There's the Paul Schrader commentary, and then there's the actual Greg Kinnear commentary and Willem Dafoe together.
I think isn't it Larry Karaszewski and Scott Alexander? I think you might have transposed the names.
I did say them. You're correct. Yes, you're correct. I got them got my tongue twisted there. Thanks for the correction. Yeah. So, but yeah, they actually did just the story. I think the actual scripting was done by somebody else, but they are on the commentary. Jacques Demy's 1969 film Model Shop, which is a quasi-sequel to his 1961 film Lola, which also both of them have featured the same character played by Anouk Ami. And this one takes place, it's kind of a love letter to Los Angeles. Apparently, when Jacques Demy came to Los Angeles the first time, he was really just fell in love with the city and wanted to do something here. And so this film is interesting. I have seen it, and it's interesting in that it captures Los Angeles at a particular time in the late 60s. You guys were talking about that earlier with the upcoming Tarantino film, and this shows you how it really was at that time. And it's interesting to see, having been out there many times myself, to see how it looked then versus what it is now. Mm-hmm. It's quite stunning, some of it.
Isn't it? Am I mistaken in thinking that I heard Gary Lockwood talking about it and mentioning it as one of his own personal favorites of his movies, right? Because
yes. I think it is. Yes, I was getting around to the fact that Gary Lockwood was hot off of his being a part of 2001: A Space Odyssey the previous year, and the story goes this is an interesting bit of trivia, I thought, is that Jacques Demy actually wanted Harrison Ford to play that part. And they would not. They wanted Gary Lockwood because he was the hot commodity at the moment. So this could have, I guess, completely turned the career of Harrison Ford and put it in a different direction. I'm thinking about it. It would have been interesting to see what became. He could have gone. There may not have been a Harrison Ford as Han Solo had that happen. So
yeah,
you never know. It's one of those mysteries to ponder. But it is about Gary Lockwood's character falling in love with the Lola character from the previous film, and it is quite touching at times. I love the original Lola, so with it being a quasi sequel and following that character to further adventures, I would recommend it. It's not quite vintage Jacques Demy, but it's certainly a good one that should be seen. The Martin Ritt film from 57, No Down Payment.
I can't wait to see this.
Yes, this is the one about about a California subdivision that struggles to make ends meet as they deal with racism, alcoholism, and promiscuity, and features Joanne Woodward, Shereen North, Tony Randall again. It's a Tony Randall month. Jeffrey Hunter and Cameron Mitchell and Pat Hingle.
Yeah.
And filmed in glorious CinemaScope in black and white. One of the things we love, those old CinemaScope black and white films. And of course, Martin Ritt, we love him. So, doing what he does best. There's an isolated music track on there. And there's on the previous model shop, I meant to mention that there is an isolated music track and the trailer and TV spots. And Model Shop, by the way, has music by that group Spirit from the late 60s. I don't know if anybody remembers them. So that's kind of interesting.
What was their
curio.
hit?
You got me on that. I'm not.
I don't remember it either. I thought it was the top 40 chart head. You'd have it at the top of your.
I'm usually good with that stuff, but it's just not coming to me. Yeah.
I've got their albums, but I can't tell you what their hit was.
Yeah, I can't think of what it was, but anyway, maybe it'll come back to me. Anyway, the last Twilight Time title is Blue Denim. This is
that looks
directed
good
by,
too.
Yeah, Philip Dunn, and it's one of the few films that we have from starring Brandon DeWilde, the former child star who was killed tragically in 1972 in a car accident. It's Carol Lynley and Brandon DeWilde and MacDonald Carey, the famous the soap opera star, and it's a story of a couple of quote-unquote good kids facing an unwed, unwanted pregnancy. So pretty heady stuff, I guess, for 1959. But that's your Twilight Time titles for the month of April. And moving right along, we have from Arrow Academy, Sleeping Dogs with Sam Neill from 1977, directed by Roger Donaldson and co-starring Warren Oates. And there's a nice 65-minute documentary on that one as well. And, so that's they've offered that one up. Warner Archive has issued Les Girls with Gene Kelly, Mitzi Gaynor, Kay Kendall, and directed by George Cukor and featuring the music and lyrics by Cole Porter and again CinemaScope. Nice transfer there. A few extras, a few featurettes, and a vintage cartoon, The Flea Circus, and theatrical trailer. So we have all those. And Aloha, Bobby and Rose from 1975. With directed by Floyd Muttrux.
Yes,
and Paula Matt, Diane Hull, and Tim McIntyre, the late Tim McIntyre, and
really good performance from him in this one. It's really, really good, and also really great L.A. stuff in it. So if you're LA nut, really nice 70s footage of L.A. in it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. True. It also has Edward James Olmos and Robert Carradine. I don't want to not mention those. And a lot of classic songs, a lot of needle drops, as we talk about. But they've done a really good job remastering this. They've done over 40 hours of color correction on this movie, which is pretty amazing. But, you talk about Tim McIntyre. He's one of those forgotten actors that I just love that guy whenever I would see him. He's in a lot of things. He died way too young. He's an alcoholic, and he basically drank himself to death. And he's good as Alan Freed, the guy who coined the phrase rock and roll in the movie American Hot Wax. And he's so good in that, and also plays George Jones in the biopic of Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man. Really, really good in that too. So he's really anytime there's a Tim McIntyre movie around, I'm there.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. It was a serious loss when he passed away. So.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So the 1937 film, The Awful Truth, directed by Leo McCarey, Irene Dunn, Cary Grant, and Ralph Bellamy.
So funny. So ridiculously funny. It is, if you think screwball comedies or whatever, no, this is the one. This is the one, I think. You got to watch it. I recall recently that Jeffrey Wells was a little disappointed in the transfer of it a little bit. Yeah, that he felt it was of a lower quality than he's used to from that company. But still, the movie is so great. It's you just if you've never seen it, you must see The Awful Truth.
Yeah, some nice extras here. A new interview with critic Gary Giddens. There's a video essay by film critic David Karn on Cary Grant's performance, and a 1978 audio interview with Irene Dunn, and a booklet with essay by Molly Haskell. That's one of the Criterion releases for the month. Also, The Virgin Suicides has been issued, the Sofia Coppola film from 1999. I find it to be good. Parts of it good. The narrative is a little lackluster for my taste, but I think it captures the period of its time.
I don't think there's a movie that physically that captures the 70s better than that.
Agreed.
I mean, I think it's also a very beautiful film. I still think it's probably my favorite of her films that she's made. I would have to say by a long shot.
It's good. It's just not great, but there are things I like about it. Let's put it that way.
We all love the score.
The score by Hair.
Fantastic.
Is awesome. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And the transfer is immaculate. Speaking of transfers, and there's a nice batch of extras. It's a Criterion, so.
I like all the girls in it. Of course, Kirsten Dunst being one of them, and I enjoy Kathleen Turner and James Woods as the parents too.
Also, the voiceover narration is very good.
Yep.
I mean, really superb. I really don't have any problem. I mean, it's a very good movie. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as this next one, Camp Nowhere, starring Christopher Lloyd from 1994.
I remember that one. I mean, I don't know. No, I think Camp Nowhere is far better. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Adam.
I couldn't resist. That's a Kino Lorber issue, one of their titles. Also, Straight Talk with Dolly Parton. Remember Dolly Parton was a talk radio host?
Yes.
She accidentally becomes Chicago's hottest talk radio celebrity.
Who's the male lead in that? Somebody like
James Woods.
James Woods.
How about that?
Is he restrained in that movie? Is he crazy? I mean...
Yeah. James Woods and Dolly Parton, you don't think of them as an on-screen couple. Doesn't really...
It's true.
Doesn't conjure up visions of romance.
Sort of like peanut butter and mayonnaise.
Right. Precisely. So
Very
Griffin
good.
Dunn is also there.
It's not the first time. The two of them have worked together, because Dolly Parton. People don't know this. Dolly Parton played the part of the bra in that movie, The Boost. So they get a long history together.
Very good.
That's good. That is good.
Yep. So we'll move along to April 24th, and we talk about the multi-pack movie collections Mill Creek's been putting out. Well, they've got a Charles Bronson 4-movie collection, and I actually think this is fairly strong. The Valachi Papers, The Stone Killer, Breakout, and Hard Times, which Hard Times previously issued by Twilight Time way out of print, so the only way that you can get Hard Times on Blu-ray now is to go for this 4-movie collection. Breakout's never been issued, so that's
These are all good movies, actually. Decent.
Right.
Yeah.
And for less than $20 for all 4 of those.
And Hard Times alone would be worth it. Walter Hill.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're going to get one really, really, really good movie out of it at least.
Yep.
So
That's right.
Have you guys seen previews to this new action movie starring a Charles Bronson lookalike? It's like they wanted to remake the feel of 70s, 80s Bronson movies, and this guy absolutely looks just like him. Like if Charles Bronson were stung in the face by bees. In some shots, it's eerie how similar they look.
Oh wow, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
No.
But
It's not Upgrade, is it? Or
it doesn't look like an upgrade.
No, the movie is called Upgrade. I think that's what you're talking about.
It might be. But, I don't remember.
Well, the 1966 horror film written by Robert Bloch and directed by Freddie Francis, The Psychopath. It's one of those Amicus productions. This has been notoriously hard to find, and so they've issued this, and it looks pretty good. There are a few scratches on the print that they couldn't do a complete restoration, but to have it's filmed in Techniscope, so anybody who's a fan of this movie is going to be just really bowled over by the fact that it's finally available in its correct aspect ratio. So I wanted to mention it for any fans of The Psychopath and mid-60s Amicus horror films. That is a Kino Lorber as well. So I just wanted to give a shout-out to that one. And Bombshell, we've talked about. This is a fairly newer film. This is the documentary about Hedy Lamarr, and tells her life story and how she was instrumental into helping get the ideas together that led to the invention of Wi-Fi and that sort of thing.
Right.
She wasn't really business savvy enough to take out a patent, and other people took her ideas and ran with them, and she kind of didn't profit the way she probably should have. But she comes across as a really smart and interesting person, more than just the sum of the parts that we've known in the public eye or whatever. It's an interesting documentary, I think. So I would recommend that people see that if they haven't gotten a chance to. And another Criterion release is Dead Man, the Jim Jarmusch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It looks really good. The black and white transfer here. A lot of nice extras. There's a Q&A with Jim Jarmusch, 48 minutes. Interview with Gary Farmer, deleted scenes, 15 minutes worth, and there's a Neil Young featurette here that's a half hour. So if you're a fan of Jarmusch's Dead Man, well, they've really done a nice job on that.
And who isn't? I mean, that's a great movie. Let's face it.
It is. Isn't it Robert Mitchum's last movie?
It is.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good movie. Really good.
It's got a big old cast.
Is
Billy Bob Thornton, is he in it? And
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of people.
It's been a long time, but
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I think it's almost as good.
Dead Bang, Adam. When is Dead Bang coming out on Blu-ray?
Dead Bang. I haven't heard a word about that one, but that's a good suggestion.
It'll happen. I'm telling you.
Yeah, probably so at some point.
That'll be in a box set with all the music videos from Don Johnson's Heartbeat album.
Yeah.
Those were good videos.
Yeah, were they?
Yeah, they were actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he played a war photographer, and so they did a series of videos telling a story. It was good. It's not really worth talking about. I should really stop talking about it.
Okay, moving on.
Well, it can't be any worse than this next title, Cyborg, with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, Jerry, your opinions of Cyborg?
Yeah,
I have a question about Cyborg. Is he the Cyborg in the movie? I forget.
No, it's the lady, the female lead. Well, not the female lead, but the...
Isn't he crucified in the movie like Jesus Christ at one point?
Yes, he is. That's correct.
I just remember watching this in college late one night. Yeah. What do you want me to say?
Did that start your fascination with crucifixion? Because your famous line on the show is, "I'm going to get crucified for this," but Mama, you know.
Well, I don't think it comes from Cyborg. I'm sure it doesn't come from.
It might actually come from the crucifixion. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might come from the crucifixion. Yeah.
Well.
Wow. Okay. Cyborg. Wow. I didn't know the negatives were still around for that. Okay.
Well, they've done a 2K scan of the inner positive, and there's new interviews here with the director and a couple of the actors. I had managed to elude having to sit through this one my entire life, and I wore that as a badge of honor until my son came down for a visit, and he wanted to see it. So curiosity killed the cat, and we both agreed it was really terrible.
Wow.
I said, it was your call, buddy.
Anyway, what is this now? What was the movie?
Cyborg. I said I'd managed to avoid it all these years, and my son broke that. So.
Oh well.
He begged
so we're
me.
We're surprised to learn that there are negatives available for Cyborg, but
I think
right.
The real question is, are there any positives for it?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
True. Well, this next title will, I'm sure this will delight Jamie. He'll be so happy that they finally put this one out, Dr. Detroit.
Oh, my God.
It does have Donna Dixon in it, though, so I will give it that.
Yeah,
that's
and
where
James
they met,
Brown.
right? In that movie?
Is. Yeah, James Brown's in it, you know. He has a good musical scene at the end of the movie. It's not the
Devo
worst
music in it.
Right.
So would you put Dr. Detroit above The Couch Trip?
It's probably about on a par.
Or what about Loose Cannons?
Oh my God, Loose Cannons! No.
It's a little bit better than that.
Or Nothing But Trouble.
These
are all just so wretched.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking
Loose
about...
Cannons is a terrible movie, but I got to tell you, I will watch that movie just because Gene Hackman's in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to see how he handles it.
All these other movies, they don't have the benefit of Gene Hackman being in them. So they have no redeemable qualities whatsoever.
That's a Bob Clark movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Bob Clark. Yeah. I had never seen Dr. Detroit until this time when it came out on Blu-ray, and I was prepared for it to be just the worst thing I'd ever seen. And it's not a great movie, but it has its mid-'80s charms, and
they're all trying to cash in. I mean, especially Aykroyd and these standalone films away from Murray or Belushi, especially Belushi.
Yeah.
And I like, he's great in all these ensemble casts, but you take him out of that, and it's very hard for him to be on his own.
To carry
a lot of these. I mean, he needs the other SNL, cast or a Second City
or
cast.
Somebody,
I mean, even that. Remember that
supporting cast.
Awful Caddyshack sequel, remember?
Yeah,
and I mean, that's just. I mean, that to me is the epitome of like really bad Aykroyd right there.
Bad Aykroyd.
Well, Dr. Detroit does have Howard Hessman and George Firth, and I always enjoy, and Fran Drescher's in there with them too. So, and you said Donna Dixon and James Brown. So there's some great supporting, actors in this. So it's. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right. No.
Fucking Dan Aykroyd, man. Jesus.
Well, he's chewing up the...
He makes my skin crawl. Like, I can't quite define it. But I'm even watching, like, Get On Up, the James Brown story that he's in. And
yeah.
he is overacting in the B-roll, like just in cutaways.
Oh, wow.
He's hamming it up. I'm like, just makes my.
I love Get On Up.
Wait, what was he in Get On Up? I don't remember him.
He was like his manager
agent.
or something. Or agent. Yeah. And
Oh wow, I love that movie, but I forgot all about him. Okay.
I mean, it's a good movie. Chadwick Boseman is really great. Yeah.
He
really is. True.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys see the sorry, this is off topic, but
sure.
Chiwetel Ejiofor movie on Netflix that comes Sunday?
Not yet.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. The movie's fine, but he is fantastic in it. I mean, you watch it for him. I mean, God, what an actor.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's quite good. Quite good. But Dan Aykroyd in Dr. Detroit, he's not merely chewing the carpet. He's swallowing the drapes and the everything else in the room, the couch.
You know, my primary memory of it, besides all the needle drops, which are great, is the costuming. For some reason, the costuming is nuts in that movie. What he's wearing and what the other people are, but it takes place in L.A. too, right? So isn't that?
Yeah.
So 80s L.A.
Well, we have two films from 1978 here next on the list. Shout Factory issued, I think this was the first film for Christopher Reeve before Superman, the same calendar year, Gray Lady Down. Which
my God.
Charlton Heston, David Carradine,
movie.
And
James Franciscus. I mean, let's not forget, everybody's in this.
Yeah. I remember when this came out. I remember it quite vividly, but it's another one that I've managed to not see it all these years, so I can't really give a critical assessment, and I didn't get a review copy. I just want to let people know, but I will tell about another one that was released that year that was a huge hit. Of course, I'm talking about Grease, the 40th anniversary edition, but what separates this and makes this different is they've issued it on 4K for the first time ever. And regardless of your feelings about Grease, which, you do get a little bit tired of it. So the culture is so ingrained with Grease, and I have seen it, many times, including originally when it came out. But this was incredible. I have to admit, this 4K, because I recently upgraded to a 4K projector, and I was able to and I had the 4K player, and I was able to actually experience the 4K. And it was just stunning. It really was. And the sound apparently has been remixed from the original 70-millimeter audio tracks. And it's so crisp and clean. I mean, the dialogue, the lyrics to the songs and the music is perfectly separated. You can hear just everything, just like I've never heard it before. And I noticed details. I noticed Eddie Deason in the background doing all kinds of business that I'd never picked up on before on the sidelines. Just little details. And, as tired as I kind of am of Grease, I really enjoyed watching it again in the 4K. I have to admit it. A great presentation really can enhance your experience of something you're tired of, and I did. So I have to say it's really, and this also has a few new extras, which there's an alternated animated main titles and an alternate ending that were just discovered on a work print from Randall Kleiser's private collection. So anybody who is a big Grease fan, I can't recommend this one. They've done a good job. I have to admit, they've really. They're not just trying to recycle something and get more money. They've really done something with this, and it's worth picking up. Another one
years ago I did an interview with Randall Kleiser about Grease, and it was going to be one of the anniversary shows, and I lost the interview.
Oh,
bong!
Terrible. My computer crashed, and the interview was edited. Everything was put together. It was ready to be uploaded, and my computer crashed and it disappeared.
Just to go back to Gray Lady Down just a little bit.
Sure.
It's not a bad movie.
Not bad, and it's got a really good cast. Of course, Charlton Heston, but David Carradine, Ned Beatty, Stacy Keach, Ronnie Cox, Dorian Harewood, Michael O'Keefe, and Christopher Reeve, of course, and so might check it out just for David Clennon as well. So that's not bad.
Yeah, it is true. Well, a couple of Olive Film releases here. And also Grease 2 has been issued as part of a multi-pack on Blu-ray for the first time, so for whatever it's worth. You can get a multi-pack that has them all in it, and Grease 2 but you can only get it as part of the pack. You can't get it separate. So
some people love Grease 2 more than Grease.
Do.
Is Michelle Pfeiffer in Grease 2?
Yes.
Yes, and Maxwell Caulfield.
Yes.
That movie is all downhill after she sings "Cool Rider."
Yeah.
But what about the bowling alley scene? That's got to be that's a classic. We're gonna bowl tonight. Oh, they're dancing with the bowling balls. That's crazy.
Oh boy, I always think about that one because it's written by Ken Finkelman, and who also 6 months later wrote and directed Airplane 2, and that's really
right.
what he's known best for. And I think to myself, this is a guy who had the worst task on earth. He had to follow up Grease and Airplane in the same calendar year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, gee. I mean, anyway. So Olive Films has put out a couple of things that are of interest, I think. One is Hope and Glory, John Boorman's autobiographical film.
Yay.
Yeah, in 1987.
Now, fantastic.
Do they have anything about the sequel? There was a sequel, Queen and Country, I think, or something?
Yes, for Queen and Country.
Yes. Is there anything?
Which is I guess that'll be, John Boorman's swan song, for, as far as films go. And it's not quite up to the level of Hope and Glory, but it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this, of course, great cast: Sarah Miles and David Heyman, Derek O'Connor, and Sammy Davis. Not the Sammy Davis Jr., but
no, of course not. No, she was very popular. This was when she was very popular.
And a wonderful performance from Ian Bannon.
He's
grandfather.
superb.
Yes,
fantastic.
He's wonderful.
Yes, I was getting to that.
It has the greatest last line. Thank you, Adolf. I mean,
yeah, it is fantastic. It's a great movie.
That Philip Rousselot photography too is worth talking about.
Yes.
So another issue, Olive Films issue, is Mermaids, the one with Cher and Winona Ryder.
Yes.
And
and who's the other little girl? Isn't that she's on the gay show. God damn it.
The gay show. Oh my God.
That chick from the gay show.
She's on Transparent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's out there, Mermaids, and the other Olive Films title I want to mention that was we lost this guy last year, the director of this film, John G. Avildsen. The movie that made him a star was Joe.
Oh yeah.
1970, and I rewatched that last week, and it's still good, I have to say. And I think it's more prescient now than ever with what's going on in our. It's amazing how this film kind of has come back around, and it's very topical, I guess is a good way to put it.
Right. Yeah.
The divide between the ultra rights and the liberals, and all this and this. And of course, we all know that Carol O'Connor's performance as Archie Bunker was inspired by Peter Boyle and Joe, supposedly. So,
and you can see some
it.
early Susan Sarandon too, right in it.
Completely naked, I might add.
There we go. Oh, by the way, it was Christina Ricci. It wasn't in Mermaids.
Right.
It's Christina Ricci, the very young Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Oh, very young, yeah.
That's right.
Michael Scheffling as the male lead in it. I guess he's probably I haven't seen it in a long time, but he was they were trying to sort of groom him for stardom back in the 80s. It didn't really kind of work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, So yeah, we got another Warner Archive title that I might have mentioned last month. I'm not sure. The Black Scorpion, which is features special effects by Willis O'Brien, who did the original King
I
Kong.
remember this. Turner showed this late, like one night when it like premiered. Like there's a like, and I it's a curiosity, definitely a curiosity. I mean,
yeah, good special effects if nothing else. Want to mention that. And the 1953 3D film has been issued in 3D with a special thanks to Martin Scorsese, because I think he put up some of the money to get this restored from the original left and right eye camera negatives by Paramount Pictures Archive. This is The Maze, which is directed, produced, and designed and directed by William Cameron Menzies.
Wow.
The famous production designer who did Gone with the Wind and many other things. But this was released at the height of the 3D craze, and it has been issued in 3D by Kino Lorber. And,
that sounds worth checking out for sure.
Yeah.
He also did Invaders from Mars.
That's exactly right. How could I forget?
Yes.
So those are a few curios that are out there, and also Liquid Sky has been issued by Vinegar Syndrome from 1982.
With quintessential midnight movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Watching that just takes me right back to that period.
Yep.
Yes, it does.
It is one of the great 80s movies. It really is. I mean, in terms of like capturing that era.
Which movie is that?
Liquid Sky.
Liquid Sky, yeah.
Yeah. So
I wanted to watch it again. Like, God, a long time ago, I rented it from the video store because they came out with this on VHS. They came out with a new edition. I went to go rent it. The videotape was broken.
And
it was the only place that you had in the area, and I was so bummed because it had been so long since I'd seen it, and I was just like, God damn.
Yeah.
So
well,
just wanted to mention that.
I'll pick that up for sure.
Yeah, it's got a boatload of extras too. They've done a nice little restoration on it, so
good
it should
score.
look really good.
I seem to remember too. So it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it was a major midnight film. All through the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And the 1956 film A Woman's Devotion, starring Ralph Meeker and Janice Rule and Paul Henreid, directed by Paul Henreid. From, like I said, 1956. That's a Kino Lorber release. So I wanted to mention that. And a couple of collections of cartoons from the 70s that people of a certain age, like ourselves, will remember. These are there's a 2-disc collection of Mr. Jaw from 1974-75, and a 2-disc collection of The Dog Father.
Now that one I don't remember. What is that?
It's the same company that did those cartoons. You know, the Pink Panther cartoons.
The Patty
Freeling. Yes. So, yeah. And the Parent Trap 1998 20th anniversary issued by Disney Movie Club. Can't believe that's 20 years old, but it is.
God, you're right. Yeah. Oh my.
And so that is that. And I believe that pretty much wraps up all of the titles for April. I was thinking I was overlooked something, but I'm looking and I don't think I did. I think that pretty well covers everything.
Who did the
who just did the restoration of Midnight Cowboy?
It hasn't come out yet. That's Criterion. That's in May. So
yeah. Dean, you spoke earlier about Jeffrey Wells. Jeffrey Wells also panned that restoration as well.
Right. Yeah, and he showed like examples of the original and next to this, and it looked a little washed out to me, but it doesn't look accurate.
I have a 2009 issue by MGM, Fox Home Video. They put it out on Blue in 2009. I have that one, so I haven't parted company with that one yet. So I may want to hold on to it. Thanks for the heads up.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's good to know. But, yeah, I think that covers everything, except there was one TV show, 13 Reasons Why, that's been issued in a box, the Netflix season that got a lot of critical acclaim. But, we don't normally talk about television, but for whatever it's worth, I wanted to say it's out there. That's the only other thing I did not mention. But,